Good evening, and welcome to Sweet Dreams. I'm your host, and I'm here to guide you on a gentle journey into dreams. Tonight, we're traveling to the far reaches of space, where a young stargazer discovers something truly magical. So get comfortable, close your eyes, and let your imagination drift among the stars. Our story begins now.
17-year-old Zara Chen had always felt like she belonged among the stars. While her classmates spent their evenings scrolling through social media or watching movies, Zara would climb onto the roof of her family's old farmhouse, telescope in hand, and lose herself in the infinite expanse of space. Her parents worried that she was too solitary, too dreamy, but Zara knew that somewhere out there in the cosmos lay answers to questions she couldn't even begin to articulate. It was on a particularly clear October night, with the Milky Way stretching across the sky like a river of diamonds, that Zara's life changed forever. She had been observing the Andromeda galaxy through her telescope when something caught her eye. A faint pulsing light that didn't belong to any star chart she had memorized. The light was different from anything she had ever seen. It didn't twinkle like stars or move in predictable patterns like planets. Instead, it seemed to pulse with a rhythm that reminded her of a heartbeat, growing brighter and dimmer in a hypnotic cycle that made her feel strangely peaceful. "What are you?" she whispered to the mysterious light, adjusting her telescope's focus to get a better view. As if responding to her question, the light suddenly flared brighter, and Zara felt a curious tingling sensation wash over her. The world around her began to shimmer and blur, and she had the strangest feeling that she was being lifted, gently and gradually, away from the familiar confines of Earth. When her vision cleared, Zara found herself floating in what appeared to be a vast, transparent bubble surrounded by the boundless beauty of space. She should have been terrified. After all, she was somehow suspended in the vacuum of space without a spacesuit. But instead, she felt an overwhelming sense of calm and wonder. The mysterious pulsing light was now much closer, and she could see that it wasn't just a single light, but rather a complex structure made of what looked like crystallized starlight. It resembled a flower, but one that existed in dimensions her mind could barely comprehend. Petals of pure energy unfolded and folded in patterns that seemed to breathe with the rhythm of the universe itself. "Welcome, young wanderer," came a voice that seemed to speak directly into her thoughts. The voice was neither male nor female, neither young nor old, but carried the weight of eons and the gentleness of a summer breeze. Zara looked around, trying to locate the source of the voice, but saw only the cosmic flower and the infinite tapestry of space surrounding them. "Who's there?" she asked, surprised to find that her voice carried perfectly in this strange environment. "I am what your kind might call a cosmic guardian," the voice replied. "I have been waiting for someone like you, someone with the sensitivity to perceive the deeper harmonies of the universe." As the voice spoke, the crystalline flower began to rotate slowly, and with each turn, waves of soothing energy rippled outward. These waves carried with them the most beautiful sounds Zara had ever heard. Not quite music, but something far more fundamental. It was as if she were hearing the universe itself humming a lullaby. "Where am I?" Zara asked, though she found that her usual anxiety about the unknown was completely absent. Here, in this impossible place, she felt more at home than she ever had on Earth. "You are in the nexus of dreams," the guardian explained, "a place that exists between the physical realm you know and the realm of pure consciousness. It is here that the universe dreams its dreams and where souls come to rest and rejuvenate during their long journeys through existence." Zara looked around with new eyes and began to notice details she had missed before. The space around them wasn't empty at all, but filled with streams of gentle light that flowed like slow rivers between the stars. These streams carried what looked like tiny glowing seeds, countless millions of them, each one pulsing with its own inner light. "What are those?" she asked, pointing to the flowing streams. Dreams, the guardian said simply. Every living being in the universe dreams, and those dreams flow through the cosmic currents like seeds on the wind. Some will take root in the minds of other dreamers, becoming inspiration or comfort. Others will grow into new realities, new worlds, new possibilities. As Zara watched, mesmerized, she began to see patterns in the flow of dream seeds. Some were bright and quick-moving, darting through space like shooting stars. Others were slow and steady, glowing with deep, peaceful colors. Still others moved in complex spirals, weaving in and out of each other in an intricate cosmic dance. "It's beautiful," Zara breathed. "But why are you showing this to me?" The cosmic guardian's flower form pulsed more brightly, and suddenly Zara found herself gently moving through the streams of dreams. As she passed through them, she could sense the emotions and hopes contained within each glowing seed. There were dreams of love and joy, dreams of adventure and discovery, dreams of peace and healing. Because the universe is in need of a new dream shepherd, the guardian explained. For countless eons, there have been those who help guide the flow of dreams, ensuring that they reach those who need them most. But the current shepherd is growing weary, and a successor must be chosen. Zara felt a flutter of uncertainty. "I'm just a teenager from a small town. I don't know anything about shepherding cosmic dreams." "Knowledge can be learned," the guardian replied gently, "but the qualities that truly matter, compassion, wonder, and the ability to find peace in the vast unknown, these cannot be taught. They must come from within." As they spoke, Zara noticed a disturbance in one of the dream streams. The normally smooth flow was becoming turbulent, and she could see dark patches spreading through the glowing current, like ink in water. Where these patches touched the dream seeds, their light began to dim and flicker. "What's happening?" Zara asked, alarmed. "Nightmare pollution," the guardian said, its voice taking on a note of concern. "It occurs when too much fear and despair builds up in the cosmic consciousness. If left unchecked, it can corrupt entire streams of dreams, turning hope into despair and wonder into terror." Without thinking, Zara found herself moving toward the corrupted stream. She had no idea what she was doing, but something deep inside her compelled her to help. As she approached the dark patches, she extended her hands toward them, and to her amazement, gentle light began to flow from her fingertips. Where her light touched the nightmare pollution, it began to dissolve like morning mist before the sun. The dream seeds in that section of the stream brightened and resumed their healthy glow, flowing smoothly once again. "Remarkable!" the guardian murmured. "You have an instinctive understanding of the healing light. This confirms what I sensed about you." Zara stared at her hands in wonder. The light was still flowing from them, but it didn't hurt or tire her. Instead, it felt as natural as breathing. "How am I doing this?" "Every soul carries within it a spark of the creative force that formed the universe," the guardian explained. "Most never learn to access it consciously, but you have the rare gift of being able to channel it at will. This is why you were drawn to study the stars, why you felt more at home in the vastness of space than in the confines of your earthly life." As Zara experimented with her newfound ability, she discovered that she could do more than just heal corrupted dream streams. She could also guide the flow of dreams themselves, gently directing them toward destinations where they would be most needed. She found herself sending dreams of comfort toward distant worlds where she sensed sorrow, dreams of inspiration toward places where creativity had stagnated, and dreams of peace toward regions torn by conflict. The work was deeply satisfying in a way that nothing in her earthly life had ever been. She felt connected not just to the cosmic currents around her, but to every living being whose dreams she helped guide. She could sense their hopes and fears, their joys and sorrows, and she found that her own heart expanded to embrace them all with compassion. Time seemed to flow differently in the nexus of dreams. Zara might have been working for minutes or hours or days. She couldn't tell and didn't care. The rhythmic pulsing of the guardian's crystalline form provided a soothing backdrop to her efforts, like the universe's own lullaby. Eventually, she became aware that the guardian was calling her attention to something new. Following its guidance, she looked toward a distant section of space where the dream stream seemed to converge into a vast, swirling galaxy of pure light. The dream heart, the guardian explained, the source from which all dreams flow, and to which they eventually return. It is there that the current dream shepherd maintains her vigil, weaving new dreams from the hopes and wishes of countless souls. As they approached the dream heart, Zara could see a figure seated at its center, an elderly woman with silver hair that seemed to be made of starlight itself. She was working at what looked like a cosmic loom, her hands moving with practiced grace as she wove threads of dreamlight into patterns of incredible complexity and beauty. The woman looked up as they approached, and her ancient eyes sparkled with warmth and wisdom. "So," she said, her voice carrying the music of distant galaxies, "this is the young soul you found to take my place. Her name is Zara," the guardian said, "and she has already shown remarkable aptitude for the healing arts." The elderly dream shepherd rose from her loom and approached Zara with a gentle smile. "I am Asteria, and I have been shepherding dreams for more years than your world has existed. I have watched civilizations rise and fall, seen stars born and die, and through it all, I have worked to ensure that hope never completely fades from the universe." "Why do you need to stop?" Zara asked. "Don't you enjoy the work?" Asteria's smile grew wistful. "Oh, child, I have loved every moment of it. But even cosmic beings need rest eventually. I have earned the right to lay down my duties and become one with the dream heart itself, to join the eternal dance of creation and destruction that keeps the universe in balance." She gestured toward the cosmic loom. "But the work must continue. Dreams are the lifeblood of consciousness itself. Without them, all sentient beings would slowly lose their capacity for hope, wonder, and growth. The universe would become a cold, mechanical place, devoid of the beauty that makes existence worthwhile." Zara approached the loom with reverence. Up close, she could see that it was far more complex than had appeared from a distance. Thousands of threads of different colors and textures stretched across its frame, each one representing a different type of dream. Some threads glowed steadily, others pulsed with varying rhythms, and still others seemed to shift and change color as she watched. Each thread represents the collective unconscious of a different species or civilization, Asteria explained. The bright golden threads carry the dreams of beings who have achieved great wisdom and peace. The silver threads belong to those who are still learning and growing. The blue threads represent the dreams of the very young, full of wonder and infinite possibility. Zara noticed some threads that looked different from the others, darker, more turbulent. "And those?" "The dreams of beings who are suffering," Asteria said sadly. "But see how I weave them together with the brighter threads. No dream exists in isolation. The sorrows of one can become the strength of another, if properly guided." As Asteria demonstrated her weaving technique, Zara began to understand the incredible complexity of the task. Every thread had to be carefully balanced with every other thread. Too much brightness in one area could create false hope, while too much darkness could lead to despair. The dream shepherd had to maintain perfect equilibrium while constantly adapting to the changing needs of trillions of dreaming minds across the cosmos. "It seems impossible," Zara said, feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of the responsibility. "Only if you try to do it all at once," Asteria replied with a gentle laugh. "But dreams are patient things. They wait for the right moment, the right combination of circumstances. Your job is not to force them into existence, but simply to provide guidance when it's needed." Over the following period, Zara had completely lost track of time. Asteria began to teach her the fundamentals of dream shepherding. She learned to recognize the different types of dreams and understand their purposes. Prophetic dreams were woven with threads of possibility, designed to prepare dreamers for challenges or opportunities ahead. Healing dreams were created from threads of pure compassion, meant to soothe wounded hearts and minds. Creative dreams combined threads of imagination with threads of inspiration, sparking new ideas and artistic visions. But perhaps most important were the simple comfort dreams, gentle visions of safety and love that helped beings endure their darkest hours. These required the softest touch, the most delicate weaving, for they had to feel completely natural to the dreamer while still providing the exact type of solace needed. "The key," Asteria explained as Zara practiced weaving her first comfort dream, is to remember that every being in the universe, no matter how different from you they might seem, shares the same fundamental needs. We all need to feel loved, to feel that our lives have meaning, to believe that tomorrow might be better than today. As Zara's skills developed, she began to understand something profound about the nature of existence itself. The universe wasn't just a collection of random matter and energy spinning through empty space. It was a living, breathing organism, with consciousness as its soul and dreams as its lifeblood. Every thought, every hope, every wish contributed to the great tapestry of reality, influencing events in ways both subtle and profound. She learned that the streams of dreams she had seen flowing between the stars were more than just metaphor. They were actual currents of conscious energy that connected all living beings across vast distances. A dream born in the mind of a child on Earth might inspire an artist on a world thousands of light years away. A vision of peace experienced by a wise elder on one planet might help end a war on another. This is why the work is so important, Asteria said as they watched a particularly beautiful dream, woven from threads of hope and determination, flow out into the cosmic currents. We are not just helping individuals have pleasant dreams, we are maintaining the very fabric that holds conscious existence together. As Zara's training progressed, she began to encounter some of the challenges that came with the role of dream shepherd. Not all dreams were pleasant ones, and not all beings were ready to receive the messages their unconscious minds were trying to send them. Sometimes she had to weave difficult dreams, visions that would force dreamers to confront their fears or acknowledge uncomfortable truths about themselves. It's one of the hardest parts of the job, Asteria admitted as Zara struggled with creating a particularly challenging dream for a being who had been avoiding an important decision for years. We want to help, to ease suffering wherever we find it, but sometimes the greatest kindness is to present someone with the reality they need to face. Zara learned to approach such tasks with deep compassion, always ensuring that even the most difficult dreams contained elements of hope and guidance. She discovered that it was possible to show someone their darkest fears while simultaneously providing them with the strength and wisdom needed to overcome those fears. The work was not without its lighter moments, however. Some of the most enjoyable aspects of dream shepherding involved weaving dreams for the very young of various species. Children's dreams were like gardens of pure possibility, and Zara delighted in creating fantastical adventures, magical worlds, and impossible friendships that would inspire young minds to believe in the extraordinary. She wove dreams of flying for Earth children who felt confined by gravity, dreams of underwater cities for young aquatic beings who longed to explore new depths, and dreams of singing forests for plant-based consciousnesses who communicated through elaborate harmonies. Never underestimate the power of wonder, Asteria advised as they watched a particularly whimsical dream float away toward its intended recipient. A single dream of magic experienced in childhood can sustain a being through decades of adult cynicism. As Zara's abilities grew stronger, she began to perceive layers of reality that had been invisible to her before. She could sense the emotional resonance of entire star systems, feel the collective hopes and fears of galactic civilizations, and even glimpse the vast intelligence that guided the evolution of the universe itself. This greater awareness brought with it a profound sense of peace. She began to understand that everything, every joy and sorrow, every triumph and defeat, every moment of love and loss, was part of a grand design too complex and beautiful for any single mind to fully comprehend. Her role as dream shepherd was not to control this design, but simply to help facilitate the flow of consciousness that allowed it to unfold. One of the most moving experiences in her training came when Asteria showed her the Dream Archive, a vast crystalline structure that preserved copies of every significant dream that had ever been woven. Here, Zara could witness the hopes and fears of civilizations that had vanished eons ago, see the creative visions that had inspired great works of art across thousands of worlds, and experience the final dreams of beings facing the end of their existence. Death dreams are among the most important we weave, Asteria explained as they moved through galleries of preserved visions. They help souls transition from one state of existence to another with grace and acceptance. Look, she showed Zara a section of the archive dedicated to transition dreams, and Zara found herself moved to tears by their beauty. These were dreams of reunion with loved ones who had passed before, dreams of understanding the meaning of a life well lived, dreams of peaceful release and transformation into something greater than individual existence. Every being deserves to face the end of their current existence with dignity and hope, Asteria said softly. These dreams remind them that death is not an ending, but a graduation to a different form of consciousness. As Zara's training neared completion, she began to feel the weight of the responsibility she was about to assume. The cosmic loom would soon be hers to tend, and with it would come the duty to guide the dreams of countless beings across the universe. "Are you ready?" Asteria asked one day as they stood together before the great loom, its threads shimmering with the dreams of 1,000,000,000,000 sleeping minds. Zara took a deep breath and looked out at the vast expanse of the dream heart, with its rivers of flowing consciousness and its gardens of crystallized hope. She thought about her old life on Earth, about the nights she had spent gazing at the stars and wondering what lay beyond the boundaries of her small world. She had found her answer in the most unexpected way possible. "I think I am," she said, and was surprised to find that she truly meant it. The anxious, uncertain teenager who had climbed onto her family's roof with a telescope seemed like a different person now. Or perhaps she had simply discovered who she was meant to be all along. Asteria smiled and began the ceremony that would transfer the responsibilities of Dream Shepherd from her tired shoulders to Zara's eager ones. It was a simple ritual, but profoundly moving. As threads of starlight flowed from Asteria's hands to Zara's, the young woman felt the collective unconscious of the universe opening to her like a vast flower blooming in fast motion. Suddenly, she could sense every dreaming mind in existence, from the smallest microorganisms experiencing basic patterns of growth and rest, to vast galactic intelligences dreaming of the birth and death of stars. The sensation was overwhelming at first, but then the cosmic rhythm she had learned to recognize took hold, and she found herself naturally falling into sync with the great pulse of sleeping consciousness. "Remember," Asteria said as she began to fade, becoming one with the dream heart itself, "you are not alone in this work. Every being who has ever dreamed is your ally, and every dream you weave becomes part of the eternal tapestry that connects all consciousness. Trust in the wisdom of the universe, and let love guide your hands." With those words, Asteria dissolved into pure light, and Zara found herself alone at the cosmic loom, the threads of 1,000,000,000 dreams awaiting her touch. She took her place at the weaving bench and placed her hands on the threads. Immediately, she could feel the needs and desires of sleeping minds across the cosmos. Here was a child afraid of the dark, who needed a dream of brave protectors. There was an elderly being facing the loss of a lifelong companion who needed a vision of eternal love. Somewhere else, an entire civilization was struggling with a difficult decision that would affect their future for generations to come. Zara began to weave, her fingers moving with growing confidence as she selected threads and combined them into dreams of comfort, inspiration, and guidance. Each dream was unique, perfectly tailored to the needs of its intended recipient, yet all were connected by the common threads of hope and compassion that ran through every vision she created. As she worked, Zara began to understand the true nature of the peace she had felt since arriving in the nexus of dreams. It wasn't the absence of challenge or difficulty. Indeed, the work of Dream Shepherd was complex and demanding. Rather, it was the peace that came from knowing one's true purpose, from being aligned with the deepest currents of existence itself. Hours passed, or perhaps days. Time flowed differently in the dream heart, measured not by the movement of planets or the ticking of clocks, but by the rhythm of sleeping and waking consciousness across the universe. Zara lost herself in the meditative flow of dream weaving, finding joy in each small act of creation and connection. She wove dreams of adventure for beings whose lives had become routine and predictable. She crafted visions of home and family for those who felt lost and alone. She created dreams of healing for those who carried old wounds and dreams of possibility for those who had given up hope. But perhaps, most importantly, she began to weave dreams that would inspire other potential dream shepherds across the cosmos. Just as Asteria had reached out to her through the mysterious, pulsing light she had observed from Earth, Zara now sent gentle dreams to sensitive souls on distant worlds, planting seeds of cosmic awareness that might one day bloom into full understanding. As she worked, Zara found herself thinking often of her life on Earth, of her parents who were probably worried sick about her disappearance, of the telescope still sitting on the farmhouse roof, of all the small, familiar details of the world she had left behind. She felt a pang of homesickness, but it was tempered by the knowledge that she was exactly where she belonged. The cosmic loom seemed to sense her thoughts, and suddenly, one of the threads began to glow more brightly than the others. As Zara touched it, she found herself looking down at Earth, as if through a window in space. She could see her family's farmhouse, her parents standing in the yard, looking up at the stars with worried expressions. "It's possible to visit, you know," came a familiar voice. Zara turned to see a shimmering figure approaching, Asteria, but transformed. No longer fully solid, but not entirely incorporeal either. "I thought you had joined the Dream Heart," Zara said, surprised and pleased to see her mentor again. "I have," Asteria replied with a smile, "but that doesn't mean I've disappeared entirely. The Dream Heart contains all consciousness that has ever been. I'm simply part of something larger now, though I can still manifest when needed to offer guidance to new shepherds." "I miss them," Zara admitted, looking down at her parents. "I never got to say goodbye." "Who says you can't?" Asteria asked gently. "One of the privileges of being a dream shepherd is the ability to visit the dreams of those we love. You could go to them tonight, in their dreams, and let them know that you're safe and happy." The idea filled Zara with joy. She carefully set aside the dream she had been weaving and selected new threads, ones that glowed with the warm colors of love and memory. Working quickly but carefully, she wove a dream that would allow her to appear to her parents as they slept, to embrace them one more time and explain where she had gone. The dream took the form of a garden, not unlike the one behind their farmhouse, but filled with flowers that bloomed in impossible colors and trees that bore fruit made of starlight. In this dream garden, Zara met her parents and was able to tell them about her incredible journey, about her new role as guardian of the universe's dreams. At first, they were concerned, worried about her safety and about the magnitude of the responsibility she had taken on. But as she showed them some of the dreams she had already woven, visions of comfort and hope that had helped beings across the cosmos, they began to understand that their daughter had found her true calling. "Will we ever see you again?" her mother asked, tears streaming down her face even in the dream. "Every time you look up at the stars and think of me," Zara replied, embracing both her parents tightly. "And maybe, sometimes, I'll visit your dreams, just like tonight." The love between us is one of the strongest forces in the universe. It can bridge any distance, even the space between dimensions. When her parents woke the next morning, they would remember the dream with unusual clarity, and they would know in their hearts that their daughter was safe and doing work of incredible importance. It wouldn't completely ease their grief at her physical absence, but it would give them comfort and a sense of connection that would last for the rest of their lives. As the days passed in the dream heart, if days had any meaning in a place outside of normal time, Zara settled into the rhythm of her new existence. She learned to perceive the great cycles of cosmic consciousness, the ebb and flow of sleeping and waking minds across billions of worlds. She discovered that the universe itself seemed to have its own sleep cycle, with periods of heightened dream activity followed by times of quiet rest. During the active periods, she would work almost constantly at the loom, weaving dreams for the countless beings who needed them. But during the quiet times, she was free to explore other aspects of the nexus of dreams. She discovered vast libraries of crystallized memories, gardens where pure emotions grew like flowers, and observatories where she could watch the birth and death of stars while contemplating the deeper mysteries of existence. One of her favorite discoveries was the Harmony Pool, a lake of liquid music where the songs of every civilization that had ever existed continued to play in eternal concert. She would often float on its surface during her rest periods, letting the ancient melodies wash over her and inspire new patterns for her dream weaving. It was during one of these peaceful interludes that Zara encountered another being like herself, a dream shepherd from a distant galaxy who had been at work for centuries longer than Asteria had been. His name was Cosmos, and he appeared as a figure made of swirling galaxies, with eyes like black holes that somehow radiated warmth rather than emptiness. "Welcome to the family," Cosmos said, his voice carrying the deep resonance of stellar wind. "It's been some time since we had a new shepherd join our ranks." "There are others?" Zara asked, delighted to learn that she wasn't the only one carrying this cosmic responsibility. "Oh, yes," Cosmos replied with a laugh that sounded like the music of the spheres. "Dream shepherds exist in every galaxy, tending to the needs of local consciousness while maintaining connection to the greater whole. We meet occasionally to share techniques and discuss challenges that affect multiple regions of space." He went on to explain that there was an entire community of dream shepherds scattered across the universe, each one responsible for their own sector of space, but all connected through the cosmic currents that carried dreams between worlds. Sometimes they would collaborate on particularly complex visions that needed to reach beings in multiple galaxies, and occasionally they would gather for great celebrations when a new star was born or when a civilization achieved a major milestone in its spiritual evolution. "The work can be lonely sometimes," Cosmos admitted. "It's good to remember that we're part of something larger than ourselves." Over the following period, Zara had the opportunity to meet several other dream shepherds through the cosmic communications network that connected all sectors of the universe. There was Luna 9, a shepherd who specialized in dreams for silicon-based life forms and who appeared as a crystal formation that sang in harmonious tones. There was Voidwalker, who tended to the dreams of energy beings and manifested as patterns of pure light, dancing in complex mathematical sequences. Each shepherd had their own techniques and specialties, but all shared the same fundamental commitment to nurturing hope and wonder throughout the cosmos. Zara learned new weaving patterns from Luna 9, discovered how to work with nonlinear consciousness from Voidwalker, and gained insights into the dreams of hive minds from a shepherd called Unity, who appeared as a cloud of luminous particles that moved in perfect coordination. As her skills and knowledge expanded, Zara began to take on more challenging assignments. She learned to weave prophetic dreams that would help civilizations prepare for important transitions, healing dreams that could mend trauma passed down through generations, and even dreams that would help beings understand complex scientific or philosophical concepts that were beyond their normal comprehension. One of her most difficult but rewarding projects involved helping an entire species overcome a collective fear that had been holding back their development for millennia. The Kythera were a highly intelligent race of aquatic beings who had developed advanced technology and achieved interplanetary travel, but they were paralyzed by an ancient terror of leaving their home star system. Working with several other dream shepherds, Zara spent weeks crafting a series of interconnected dreams that would gradually help the Kythera understand that their fears were based on racial memories of a disaster that was no longer relevant to their current situation. The dreams had to be subtle and carefully orchestrated, planting seeds of courage and curiosity that would grow naturally over time rather than forcing immediate change. The project was a complete success. Within a year, the Kythera had launched their first expedition to a neighboring star system, and within a decade, they had become one of the most adventurous and far-traveling species in their galaxy. Knowing that her work had helped an entire civilization overcome their limitations and achieve their potential filled Zara with a deep sense of satisfaction. As the cycles of universal consciousness continued to turn, Zara found herself growing into her role in ways she had never expected. the shy, solitary teenager who had gazed at stars from her family's rooftop had become a cosmic gardener, tending to the hopes and dreams of beings she would never meet, but whose lives she touched every night. She learned to see beauty in the vast loneliness of space, understanding that the darkness between stars was not empty, but filled with potential, the space where new dreams could be born and where consciousness could expand beyond its current limitations. She found peace in the cosmic rhythms, in the eternal dance of sleeping and waking that connected all living things. But perhaps most importantly, she learned that her work as a dream shepherd was not separate from her humanity, but an expression of it. The compassion she felt for struggling beings across the universe was the same compassion she had always carried for the people in her small hometown. The wonder she experienced while weaving dreams was the same wonder she had felt as a child looking up at the night sky. The love that guided her hands as she worked at the cosmic loom was the same love her parents had given her, now expanded to embrace all of creation. As she settled into her eternal vigil at the Dream Heart, weaving visions of hope and wonder for countless sleeping minds, Zara understood that she had found not just her purpose, but her home. The cosmos that had always called to her had welcomed her with open arms, and she had become part of the great work of nurturing consciousness itself. In the quiet moments between dreams, when the cosmic loom rested and the streams of consciousness flowed peacefully through space, Zara would sometimes think about other young dreamers on distant worlds, beings who looked up at their own night skies and wondered what lay beyond the boundaries of their small lives. She would send gentle dreams their way, dreams that whispered of vast possibilities and infinite wonders waiting to be discovered. And sometimes, on the clearest nights, when the cosmic currents were particularly strong, she would send a special dream back to Earth, to another teenager sitting on another rooftop with a telescope, gazing at the stars and feeling the deep longing to explore the mysteries of space. In that dream, she would show them a glimpse of the nexus of dreams, a hint of the cosmic purpose that awaited those with the courage to answer the call of the infinite. For Zara had learned the most important lesson of all, that the universe was not just a collection of distant stars and empty space, but a living tapestry of consciousness and dreams, forever weaving itself into new patterns of beauty and meaning. And she was honored to be one of the weavers, adding her own threads of hope and wonder to the eternal masterpiece of existence. As the cosmic cycles turned and turned again, carrying dreams to sleeping minds across the vast expanse of space, Zara continued her work with joy and dedication, knowing that every dream she wove was a gift of love to the universe itself, and that, in return, the universe had given her the greatest gift of all, the chance to help nurture the endless flowering of consciousness among the stars. In this way, the young woman who had once felt like a stranger on her own world found her true home in the infinite reaches of space, where dreams were born and love connected all living things in an eternal web of wonder and possibility. And in the gentle rhythm of her weaving, in the soft light of the dreams she created, the universe itself seemed to sigh with contentment, knowing that its hopes and dreams were in the caring hands of one who understood that the greatest mysteries were not meant to be solved, but to be lived and shared and passed on to the next generation of cosmic wanderers. Zara worked at her cosmic loom, weaving dreams of wonder and hope for all the sleeping souls